Oki, my name is Annie Belcourt, Otter Woman, which translates to Amanisiaki, Unpacking or Middeboge in Hidatsan. I'm an enrolled member in the 3 affiliated tribes in North Dakota. My tribal affiliation includes Blackfeet, Chippewa, Mandan, and Hidatsan tribes. I grew up on a remote corner of the Blackfeet Reservation. I'm the 3rd of 8 children born to Cheryl Baker and Gordon Belcourt. I attended Star School Elementary and I graduated from Browning High School in 1992. We were raised deeply rooted to our Blackfeet and Native traditions, learning ceremonial ways of life. We were taught to persevere in difficult circumstances and to value hard work, education, integrity, family, hope, and resiliency. We were loved. Other Native children were not so fortunate. Many Native children go to bed at night hungry, unloved, ignored, or even worse, abused or mistreated. Sometimes when children are mistreated, they carry that into their adult lives. This can lead to violence or even suicide. At 21, my sister Elena returned to live with our parents. She wanted to rebuild her life after experiencing an abusive marriage. During a night out with friends, she was shot and killed by 2 men who had illegal access to guns. Her life ended on January 26, 2001. On that day, our lives changed forever. My sister was a second mom to my daughters. She filled our lives with joy, humor, and love. I wanted to create a legacy for my sister. Although it was hard, I completed my doctorate in clinical psychology. I hope that my academic and professional journey can stand as a testament to the love of my family and the resiliency of our Native communities. I have worked to learn more about the clinical impact of trauma in order to protect Native women and children. As a social scientist, this quest has led me to ask difficult questions about how communities can effectively promote violence prevention within Indian country. The answers are difficult. The answers require leaders within the nation and tribes to end poverty, discrimination, domestic violence, child abuse, and neglect. The answers require that funding and policy be directed at improving access to healthcare, mental health services, educational opportunities, and early prevention programs for Native children. The answers also require Native communities and individuals to take a hard look at ourselves. They also require that we remember our cultural traditions of honoring and valuing each and every single one of our community members. Every woman, child, and man counts. No matter our differences, we must always remember that the solutions to the problems lie within our communities and within our culture. We have to stand together to erase violence and suicide risk in order to protect the most vulnerable members of our society. Our youth are at greatest risk, and as Native people, we must choose to remember and create the love of family and culture for all children. Developing positive Native identities happens when children have cultural and educational opportunities, safe homes, and loving caregivers who help each child feel important, loved, and included. I am a mother, daughter, sister, friend, family member, and also a faculty member at the University of Montana. My sister and family inspired me to choose a hopeful life, working to advance healing. We can all work to prevent violence, suicide, and crime by creating stronger Native American communities and remembering to listen to our hopes and to our dreams again. Dreams. I'm here to talk a little bit about dreams tonight. Dreams are something that we all have. We have dreams for our own lives. We have dreams for our children. We have dreams for our communities. Dreams are something that bring us all together. And one of the ways that we can share our dreams and our hopes for the future is through storytelling. Storytelling is something that is very important to our cultures as Native communities. It's something that brings us together, has always brought us together. Native people in the state of Montana live shorter lives than other people. We live more challenging lives. However, many of us have found ways to rise above those suffering and losses. We found ways through story, we found ways through our family, we found ways to thrive and to survive and even succeed. And that's what I'm here to really talk with you a little bit about tonight. I grew up on the Star School community, roughly, on the Blackfeet Reservation in northwest Montana, very rural place. But we were surrounded by story, we were surrounded by love, we were surrounded by family. Some of my early memories are sitting around campfires, sitting around cups of tea with my grandmother and my family, and sharing stories and laughing a lot and being silly and being crazy and all those kind of crazy things that we all enjoy as youth. As a child, I also remember our spiritual home. And for me, as a Blackfeet person, as you see, multi-tribal person, a lot of that was really our Blackfeet cultural teachings and practices. So one of my first memories I'll share with you is a story. It's a story of the first time I participated in our Okan, our medicine lodge ceremony. So imagine, if you will, the plains of Canada, very dry. The only lights you could see really were the stars. And so above our heads were the stars and a blanket of stars. So you felt sort of like you were in a snow globe made of dust. So when it rained, the dust would fly everywhere. One night there were northern lights. And the northern lights, if you've never seen them, are a wonderful thing. They're green and they're gold and they're luminous in many ways. The northern lights literally started to build a lodge over us in the stars and in the sky. And it was in that moment that I realized that there is a world beyond this. It was a glimpse into eternity. It was a way that I could see the different ways that we can all continue with our existence beyond this one. It was a way that we can continue the love that we experience within our lives in many different ways. So however you define that, remembering that love within your life will guide you in many ways. So in the days and the weeks and the years following my sister's death, I held on to that moment. I remembered that experience of a life between worlds. And that helped me to continue. That helped me to be strong for my family. And a lot of that came from my friends, and it came from my family, came from my dad, and the courage that he showed all of his life, and the kindness and compassion he showed in his life. So something that I would really like to encourage all of you to be curious about is the stories of your own life. No matter your age, your stories matter. And people will listen to your stories, and they will feel them, and they will remember those stories, and that may hold them up when they feel like they can't hold themselves up. So just as the floor beneath our feet holds us up tonight, I'd encourage you to remember that we can hold each other up. We can hold each other up in different ways, with love and with compassion and with stories. One of the ways that we can honor our ancestors is by loving each other. It's a very simple thing. Last night, I went to a memorial service for a neighbor of mine. I didn't know them. I didn't really know. I met them a couple times. All they know is that they are annoyed by my little chihuahua who barks. But they had just lost their daughter. And all I did was brought a card, and I hugged him, and I said, sorry for your loss. I live right next door. If I can do anything, let me know. And I don't know if that made any kind of difference, but I hope that it does. And I hope each of us can find ways to try to make those small differences in people's lives. Because you never know, the smallest act of compassion can truly save somebody's life. It can bring lightness into the darkness. And that's something that we can all strive to achieve, even in small ways. So thank you very much.